So I took this course on the basis that I would have a really good broad understanding of social media and the expertise really that Brian Rose was going to offer us on a one-to-one basis. And for me, that was the biggest thing, on top of the fact that it was there was a guarantee, a refund guarantee that was offered. And unfortunately, after 2 to 3 weeks of being on the course, it was pretty clear to me that it was missold. And not only was it missold, but the promise of one-to-one mentoring with Brian Rose, or the time that he was going to be available to us, was just not there. So I'm hugely disappointed with what I've received, and for that reason, I am making sure that I'm going to get my refund back from my bank. And yeah, it's disappointing, because it could have been a really, really good course, given what I believe Brian Rose knows about social media, but it's clear that he doesn't.
I came on this course to learn how to build an online business. I expected to learn the things that we were told on the webinar, on the promotion for this course, and as well in the beginning of the course, which is, for instance, bulletproofing your business, which we did through a Facebook tool, which is actually a task of 5 to 10 minutes. That was the input for 1 week. The second that I wanted to do was the second module, which was, I think, Kickstart. I don't know the way we went about the modules, but one was kickstarting the media, social media. What I learned in that week, where I was supposed to kickstart my social media, was to sign into 5 media platforms and to add people, as many as I could randomly, and to as well violate the rules of Instagram, of Facebook, contacting people, which I didn't like. I followed, and I felt really weird about it, and I felt like that is not the equivalent of a week of $375 signing up to social media and adding people. So I didn't get to learn any hacks, which I would have loved to learn. I think London Real would be easy for them to actually put in tutorials into this course where people could follow along, real hacks to grow your following organically. We didn't. I expected us to build a high performance website, which we were told when we were sold the course.
Nice and simple. Image, copy that promises something great, email opt-in to deliver that promise.
We built a landing page that we built through a tutorial, a 20-minute tutorial. I still don't know how to do it. I would have to follow the tutorial to do the same thing. So I didn't learn how to build a website, and many, many other things. I think the latter is brought up really high, since the course sold for a price of $3,000, which makes the expectations really high, and it doesn't the expectations didn't meet what I experienced on the course. People got isolated. I get removed from the chat when asking open questions. We were shut down. A few people actually got shut down by team leaders who I don't think are educated, not all of them at least, to lead a team. But it's very scary what's been happening on the course, to be honest. So I would definitely not to recommend to go on it. I will as well get the money back from my bank. And I wish they would put out another course, which was more sufficient than this one, but I wouldn't recommend anyone to go on this one.
Yeah, so I know about London Real for about 5 or 6 years now. I've been following Brian Rose for quite a long time. The Business Accelerator has always been an exciting course for me to want to do. I've known about it for about the last 2.5, 3 years, but it was always a bit expensive for me. And then I saw the opportunity to pay monthly, and with Brian Rose's experience and everything he was promising on the course, I was excited. I was a little bit worried because during his webinars where he would sell the course, he was really able to tell everybody what they wanted to hear, no matter if they had a business, if they thought they were starting a business, if they were deep into a business. It seemed to be a course for everyone. And that was my first red flag. But I know I trusted Brian Rose. I trusted his podcast. And with the amount of the course, I thought it must work. So I gave it a shot, and I have been in my own business for a long time. I have a very expensive website. I have active social media sites, and the first module was for me to think of my business plan, but I already had one. I had a business. They had nothing else for people that had already had a course. The next one was to build a very basic website. I already have a very advanced website, so there was, again, nothing for me to do. Then we had the vlog. I have been on social media and YouTube for 5 years. I have over 700 followers. So again, there was nothing for me to do. And when I started asking about things to do, I was given very rude answers back that this was my resistance and this was my problem. And it was a great course, and it was always my fault. So I filled out every single module's review saying that I really trust Brian Rose and the course will get better, and it only got worse. So for me, I'm just extremely disappointed. I feel like I was lied to. And when this course could be something that is fantastic and you do try to make it better for yourself, you just get no answer or get told that you're wrong or get blocked or hidden from a group. And that's not what I'm paying $3,000 for. Or $3,400 because I'm paying monthly. I'm actually even being paid more. And when you don't hear from him, and then you get emails from him asking you to pay another $2,000 to sit at a dinner table with him, or to start paying for the broadcast yourself and other things, I just think that's very irresponsible, rude. And yeah, I would not recommend, unfortunately, this course to anyone. And I've really deleted myself from all Brian Rose's accounts because yeah, I feel lied to, and I feel that I can't trust his product.
I remember it was my birthday when I subscribed to the London Real crap, and I received a video from Brian where he told me in this video, in this mail, he will be the personal mentor. And then it melted down to 16 live calls, 8 done by Brian Rose himself and 8 done by some team leaders. And Brian even missed one call, and there was no substitute for the call. And there is no personal coaching at all. There is one 20-minute phone call, Zoom call with a team leader, and the team leader have no business experience. Those are just normal people like everyone who attends the course, and they just did the accelerator or another similar program a few months ago. So you're not talking to pros, you are talking to the apprentice. Yeah. And you have to look up all the problems, the tech problems you have yourself. So if you have problems setting up your website, they tell you to look up on Google or on YouTube for tutorials. So I don't need to pay $3,000 to look on YouTube for free to check out everything myself. The next thing, which is really critical, he said here there is a huge and giant module of social media, how to boost your social media. But they only ask you to set up 5 social media profiles and then use robots.
And it's an amazing tool called RoboLike. Now these tools come up, and a lot of times you can only use them for a 3-month or a 6-month window before the social media platforms get wise to them and shut them down. So use this tool now.
So they ask us to violate the rules of every of these platforms. So I signed into Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and all the other stuff. And you have to accept their terms of condition not to use robots because it's forbidden. And they ask you to use robots until you are blocked because it's so cool. No, it's not cool. That's just, I can ask the Italian mafia to get me some followers. It would be easier. Yeah, that's not advice. That's really bad advice. So I don't know how Mark Zuckerberg thinks of it, or the Google brothers. That's really, really bad news. So the high performance website, I mean, come on, a 15-year-old guy can set this thing up in 15 minutes. That's not high performance. That's nothing. It's just a landing page. Yeah. So what is the information in this course? What did we pay for? The next severe thing is we have very strict GDPR rules in Europe and in Austria especially. And they don't care. They route you to a US site where you can set up your private policy declaration for free. And I don't need to be a very intelligent lawyer to know that this won't fit the needs of the European Union or any other country in the world. And if you contact your team leader, they say, oh, I don't know, you're the only one who has a problem. Yeah, but there is a problem, and you just have to look it up. So the next thing is I was kicked out today, so I have no access to the team calls. So how can I finish this course? You know, kicking someone out who paid $3,000, that's really not okay. What also not okay is to announce team clowns in front of 180 people to tell, oh, you are the team clown this week because of this and because of that. I think that's cyber mobbing. That's not okay, because they sold us a course where no one is left behind and we help you. But, you know, if I help someone, I cannot go to him and say, oh, you are the clown, you need help. Look it up on YouTube yourself. Yeah, that's not okay. We have this crappy dashboard from London Real. If you want to contact the team leader and you press this field, nothing happens. You cannot contact your team leader. The next thing is we have to sell our webinars to our friends and relatives.
Your friends and family. This is a basic thing. All the different family, extended family members, and people that you see on a regular basis as your friends. Write all of their names down.
Because that's the only context we have. Because from the social media, we have nothing, because robots won't subscribe to my webinar. So I can do that every time. I don't need to spend $3,000 to sell any crap or any webinars to my friends and relatives. And the next thing is, it's forbidden. GDPR rule sees that as spam, period. So I'm really set up. There is no support from team leaders. I've been kicked out from Lisa May. She is not answering for 4 days. I have documented that. And my team leader is not able to decide anything. So, Brian Rose, what did you do? Maybe your teammates don't inform you what's going up. So I really ask you, go back and look up what happened here, because that will ruin everything you built up the last 7 years. And I will definitely get my money back. And if it's the last thing I do in my life.
Well,